Today, I don't know, I'm just trying to entertain myself. Okay, so today I'm going to be telling you a short story. So this story takes place a full 10 years ago. It was maybe late March 2010. It was the end of my sophomore year of college. Yes, I am that old, that I was in college a decade ago, and that hurts to say. Take a moment of silence for that realization. How did I get so old? Why do I have these gray hairs? You see all this shit? Okay, anyway. All right, so the story is actually kind of funny. So the story is, it was the end of my sophomore year, and I had just finished I'm an actor. I studied acting in college, and we had just finished the last show of our production of Harvey. There's a movie version with, wait, who played it? Jimmy Stewart. So Jimmy Stewart played it in the movie, and they did it on Broadway like 10 years ago as well, and Jim Parsons played the role. So I played this character, and it was the end of my sophomore year, and it was my first like starring role. I had had roles before. I had been the rabbi's son in Fiddler on the Roof. I had been a guard in Antigone, which is a Greek play. I was the snake in The Apple Tree. I had roles, but I was never Adam. I was never Tevye. I was never Creon. I was never that role. I was never that guy. I was always, kind of secondary. So this was my first time being like the guy. This is his story, and I was so excited. And we finished the last show, and we started to strike the set. So basically that means we were tearing everything down. All of the theater majors, musical theater majors, we were required to help with strikes. So there's like, I don't know, 70 plus students plus some faculty, and we're all just tearing this thing down. And my friend Marcus was also in the play, and he was not only my friend, he's still my friend, but he was also someone that I really looked up to. He was 2 years older than me. He had played some great roles. He is still, I know I haven't seen him act in years, but he was someone who I thought was, he got it, man. Like, this was an actor that I was like, I want to be like Marcus. I had other friends who were actors too that I really loved them, but I wasn't really looking up to their acting per se. I was like, man, you're a really cool guy, and you're also an actor. But with Marcus, I was like, you're a really cool guy, and I need to learn from you. And so he and I were palling around, and we were kind of like, shooting the shit while we were, tearing things down and talking about the show. And someone was like streaming music, and it was like, I think maybe they had the show music playing, which was like 1950s, like, I don't know, Louis Armstrong or something. And I was like, no. I know what we need. Take it back to 2010. I was like, we need some Ludacris. We need some Ludacris if we're gonna tear this set down properly. And so Marcus was like, yeah, fuck yeah, Ludacris. And so we were both gonna like jam out to Ludacris. And I was like, I have some Ludacris CDs in my car. Want me to go get them? And he was like, yeah, for sure. So I ran out, like literally ran. I didn't people say I ran out and they just they walked out. That's a lie. I am honest. I darted out of the theater, ran to my car and ran back. And Marcus and I both ran up to the catwalk because that's where the music was controlled. So, because it was coming through the house. We weren't playing it on a boombox or something. And this is before Beats by Dre and all that, at least I think. I don't think the pill and all that stuff was. Bluetooth speakers, I guess, maybe they were around, but they weren't as prevalent as they are now. So we were just gonna play a CD through the house. And so we both run up the catwalk and we go in and we literally were doing this motion. We were pretending to kick the doors down. We were out of here. This is, government operation. We're taking over. And they were like, whatever. So they let us put our music in, and we're both stomping down the catwalk. And then you have to climb up this little ladder to get up the catwalk. So you go up a spiral staircase, and then there's a little hallway, and then you have to climb up this little ladder. It's maybe 6 feet. And then you're in the catwalk. So we're coming down from having put on our Ludacris CD, and it was word of mouth for, just to paint that picture. It was word of mouth by Ludacris. And you know, it's starting to come on, and we're like, yeah, we're rapping, we're like living our best lives, tearing down this set. I'm like feeling so good because I was just the star of this show, and I'm 19, and you know, I still got like my hair gelled back because I had, it was the 50s, the play set in the 50s, so I had like a, you know, you know, I don't know what you call that, but like a slick back, and I was wearing like a suit in the play. And so I still got, you know, I'm like wearing like an American Eagle t-shirt or something now, but I still got my hair slicked back. And we get to the catwalk, the little like the little ladder to get down, and Marcus fucking jumped down. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. He's really, I had all these thoughts like so fast, but I was like, he's really into this Ludacris thing. Like we really are like, we're about to fuck shit up, you know? Like that's kind of how we feel. We're badasses. We were just like in this play. Like we run this shit. This small town university theater, we run this shit. And so he jumped down. And I was like, well, I gotta jump down too. And the difference between Marcus and me jumping is that Marcus is like 5'5". He's like not a super tall guy. I am 6'2", and I am relatively tall. And so he jumped down, and, you know, he landed, and he was just like, yeah. And then as soon as I went to jump, my lanky ass hit the ceiling. My head hit the ceiling, which caused me to be like, okay, so let me just, I'm here, right? So this is me. So like, this is my head, right? I have really long legs. Help. And anyway, so maybe this way. So I get to the edge, and when I go to jump, I hit the ceiling immediately. So I go like this, and my legs go like this, and I land on my butt and my head. So I land on my butt. I like try to catch myself. My head hurts because I just bashed the ceiling with it. And then I land like on my butt, and like I like throw my forearms back to catch myself. So I like bruise my elbows. I hurt my butt, and then my head snaps back, and the back part of my head hits the floor. And I don't really remember how badly it hurt because I so quickly got disoriented. Like, I just remember like being on the ground and being like, oh fuck, this hurt so much, but I don't even think I cried. I was just like, what? Like I was concussed. And so I'm just laying there, and then I like slow to get up, and then a girl that was like also coming up the spiral staircase, she saw me, and she just started like yelling, and she ran back down, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, I'm obviously hurt, but that was not helpful, Katie. And then another guy came up, and he was like, Zach, like talking to me. And then I was like, what? And he was like, put your head down. I put my head down, and it was just like pouring blood. And so I was like, oh no, I'm really hurt. And then like a bunch of adults came up, and like Marcus had got adults, and you know, everybody was just like coming up, and I kept seeing people like trying to like sneak up, like coming in from all the different directions to try to see what was going on with me. And I don't remember who, but someone helped me go down the spiral staircase. And then this woman she's like a theater director in town for like youth theater, like kid theater. And I had done youth theater with her kids when I was a kid. And she was taking classes at the university, so she had to do strike. But she was like, you know, like a mom, she had kids. And she saw me, and she's like, I'm taking you to the hospital. And I was like, I don't have health insurance. And she was like, you don't have a choice. You have to go. And so someone called my grandmother, and I remember my friend Noah, maybe Noah called Bubba, because I remember my friend Noah was with me. And we go to the hospital, and we waited for like 6 hours. And my grandmother came, and she was just sitting in the hospital with me, and I kept trying to like sleep. And she would be like, nope, you can't sleep, which I learned you can't sleep when you have a concussion. And they finally took me back. It was like 4 a.m, and they gave me staples. So I had these staples in my head. And they gave me like a shot first, which kind of hurt, but that shot made it so that I didn't feel the staples. And so then like we go home, or I go home, and then a couple days later, I see my grandmother again, and I'm like kind of feeling back to normal, except for I still have the staples in my head. And I was like, yeah, so someone told me at the school that they were gonna pay for the bill because I got hurt on school grounds. So I thought, yeah, that makes sense. And then my grandmother was like, okay, that makes sense. She didn't really know the whole story. Like I told her that I jumped off the catwalk, but she didn't know the situation really. She wasn't at the strike. And I didn't lie, I just didn't tell her the whole thing. I just didn't think it was a big deal. And then so like she calls the school and she's talking to the dean, who was a big fan of mine. You know, was a guy I really respected, and he liked me. But he was like, no, we're not paying for this bill. And my grandmother was like, but he got hurt on school grounds. And he was like, yeah, because he was goofing off and he jumped off of a ladder. And Bubba was like, what the hell? And I was like, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, I was goofing off with Marcus. She was like, oh my God. She was so mad at me. She was like, get you damn room. And so my grandmother had to pay that bill for me, which is sweet. She did that. She just paid it and was like, don't ever jump off of shit again. I'm not doing this again. And I was like, okay. I was like, I won't ever jump from the catwalk to the next level again, I promise. And I was in a musical review at the same time. So we were wrapping up Harvey while we were starting to do the like end of the year gala, so that donors could come, and you know, all the arts are represented. So there's musicians who play and singers who sing, and the actors do. We didn't do scenes, which would have been way cooler. We just did like musical numbers, which at the time I was like, yay, musical theater. But now I'm like, no, that sucks. We should have fucking did Shakespeare or something. Anyway, so I was in, one of the numbers I was in was from South Pacific. And there was a bit which is this like old school musical, and I was supposed to jump. There's like 4 or 5 guys. They were all like kind of strong guys. And they were supposed to like hold their arms out and catch me. And I was going to jump and then like land in their arms. So we did it in rehearsals. And I felt the staples move, and the director was like, nope, nope, that's not happening. So I didn't get to do my big jump until the actual show, because she didn't want me to do it at all, and I like begged her to let me do it, because I had like a little, like a 1-line solo. I was not a singer really, but I did get to sing a little bit, and I had like 1 line, and I got to jump in these guys' arms, and it was funny, and I really wanted to do it, and I didn't want my staples to hold me back, but everyone was like, so grossed out by me because I couldn't wash my hair until the staples came out, and it was like maybe 10 days before maybe something like 10 days before I got them out. So I didn't wash my hair for like 10 days, but it wasn't a normal day. I had like a ton of hair gel and hairspray because I was in the show. So I had crunchy, bloody hair for like 10 days, and it smelled, and everybody was like, this is fucking disgusting. And I was like, yeah, no, I agree. I'm not a fan of this either. And then I got the staples out, and everything was good. And now I still have a scar. So sometimes if I, like, I don't know, it's gonna be too hard to find. It's somewhere right in here. So like you can always see my scalp right there. Like it parts, like it's like a weird part where you can see like a 3. It's not deep, but it's kind of long. So it's like maybe it's like 2 inches, just like that. Just like a line in my head. Yeah, from Word of Mouth by Ludacris. Featuring Harvey, the play, featuring Marcus Sally. Anyway, so that's the time I had staples in my head because I jumped off the catwalk at my university theater. Good story. And I'll end it the way I started it. Somebody gonna get her.